Good morning, everybody. It's Becky from Authorized Vac Sew, and today our video is going to be on your first block for the Rise and Shine. So I have the quilt here behind me. This is the burgundy version, and for those of you who are doing the tan version, we will show you the blocks for that too. So down here on my table is the finished block for the burgundy and also the block for the tan. So today we're going to be working on the burgundy. So I want to remind you that you have a color key in your packet. So this is the color for the tan, and then on the other side is the burgundy. You will only be getting the version that is for you. So here are your instructions. You have a 2-page instruction to follow, and we're going to follow exactly on this so that you see what to do. So down here it says assembling the block. So we're going to start with step 1, which is right here. We're going to add the triangle to the square. So I've already put one on, and now I'm going to put the second one on. You're going to put 2 rectangles. I'm sorry, I said triangle. You're going to put 2 rectangles onto this square. So let me get this one on here for you. Oh dear. Okay, we're going to cut our thread here. Okay, so we have our block that has 2 rectangles on the sides of the block. Now what we're going to do is we have to put these little squares on the end of the remaining 2 rectangles. So I have one finished here. We're going to put it down here, and then here is the second one. So you're going to have one small square and on one end of the rectangle and one on the other. So I'm going to sew this. Now what I would like you to do is when you're ironing, I want you to iron your seams toward the squares. So you'll see on this one, I ironed towards the square, and on this, I ironed towards the big square. Okay, so we've sewn the 2 small squares onto a rectangle. We attach them to the opposite sides of the previous square that we did. So now we're going to put the second one on. And you're going to marry these seams right here. I'm going to use my little trusty stiletto. I know I've told you before on other videos, this is my favorite tool to use because it holds everything in place and I don't have to get my fingers under there. By the way, everybody, I'm using this beautiful little Peacock Bernina machine today. It's a 480, perfect machine for taking to classes. Okay, so I want to show you the back of this. By ironing your seams to the small squares and to the big square, when you iron it, you're able to do this little pinwheel, which makes it really nice for your quilt laying flat. Next step on the quilt is to sew your number 2 triangles to the triangle that is called 2 plus 2. So we're going to make 4 of these units. So I sewed one side on already, and now we're going to put the second one. The nice thing about these templates that you're going to be using is that you have these little cutouts and you know exactly where to line them up. So again, I'm going to use my trusty stiletto, and I just like to use that to hold it so that it doesn't try to separate itself. And you can go all the way to the end, cut your thread. And then we're going to iron this towards the small triangle, and we're going to have 4 units. So here's my other units, and we're going to iron those or sew those to the square unit we previously made. Okay, when you make your triangle units, what's going to happen is you're going to sew them on 2 edges of the first square that you made. So you have a triangle unit on this end and on this end. To complete that step, we need to make a 4 patch. So we're going to make a 4 patch with these pieces that you have. So you've got 4 of the little squares, square number 5, and you've got 2 each of the different colors. So what we're going to do is make a 4 patch. So always make sure that you have the white colors opposites of each other, and when you sew your 4 patch, you're going to iron it to the dark side. So again, I'm going to use my stiletto to hold my seam right where I want it. When you iron this open, again, you are going to have the little pinwheel in the center. When you finish your 4-patch unit, you are going to sew them to the opposite ends of the 2 remaining triangle units that you have. And keep in mind that the dark part here needs to be at the bottom where the wide part of this is, and it shows you that on your directions. So we're going to sew 1 to each end of 2 of the units that we have remaining. So I have 1 here and I have 2 here, and we're going to sew these to the square unit that we just made. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to lay this like this, and it's going to go on here. I do not pin these because I have ironed really well. When you use these templates, everything is cut out so perfectly that all the seams match up. And I say that knowing that you are making a perfect 1/4 inch seam. So let's open this up and see what it looks like. So when you open this, you're going to have the 3 here, and then we are going to sew this one on to the other side. And again, we're going to iron it to where we have the little pinwheels. And when you are finished, this is what your block is going to look like. Everything ironed and a perfect square. So thank you for joining us today with our first block, and I just want to show you one more time. Here is our burgundy version, and we have our tan version. And I wanted to remind you, I use this beautiful limited edition Bernina machine. This is the perfect machine for taking to classes, and it comes with a walking foot, which, you know, as quilters is really important. And best of all, it comes with this gorgeous luggage, so you're all set. And it's perfect weight for taking, does that heavy duty stuff, and isn't too hard to get in and out of your car.